to explain the reasons for everyone to consider actually being honest, the kind of reasons that would benefit you personally and would not be just an ethical claim for whatever it is right for you to do. So, why to be honest? Right. It's a good question because why to be honest if instead, what? What is the alternative to not being honest? I maybe not so radically. Perhaps it also could be to be silent, not to speak what there is. So, what is honesty exactly? I can put it forward as a willingness to share what is true for you, what you experience to be true, as it is, as you see it for yourself, right? So it is a willingness to share, it is an openness in sharing. And then the question is, well, why would you share? Why would you share the things you think are true? Why would you share the things you experience? And for me, the main reason is because, well, because you want to deal with that. Because you want to understand it better. Because you are on your personal mission of moving forward in life, whatever that forward would be, whatever destination you would have for yourself, you're moving forward. You're in the process from going somewhere um, from your current point, right? And to do that, you need to make a better sense of everything you know, uh, of everything you hold, of everything you experience. You need to make a better sense of it. You need to come up with solutions. You need to find the coherence in the picture you hold. And you need that because you want to know how exactly to move forward and what exactly you should do. And for that, you try to build a coherent picture which would help you to know what to do so it wouldn't be random. Um, right. And my claim is that honesty would provide you with such an amazing opportunity like nothing else, opportunity to uh do exactly that, to make sense of the things you know, to make a better sense of the things you already experience. And if you're not honest, it's your problem. Of course, it will influence other people, but first of all, it is your problem because you are avoiding and escaping from making that sense of everything you possess. And for me, the strong reason behind that is that when we communicate with people, we identify um, we identify what we experience too. You know, thinking process is not that easy. It is complex to actually think and to actually understand, to actually um, put the picture together and reason is hard. And because also because reality proves you wrong all the time, and because you're limited in your understanding, so it's a hard work to do. But when we communicate, we now in the process of thinking, we're now in the process of not only identifying what we want to communicate, but also making sense out of it in such a way so other people could relate to us. So we kind of identify the truest experience we have that could be shared by other people. And that's what we do when we communicate. We have to identify our truest experience, which could be real to others. Um, and it's not least important for us too, because we oftentimes fail to identify it in the first place. And if we're not honest, we are avoiding that process which would help us, that process of identifying the exactly the thing we could deal with instead, that thing with which we could work and move on, that thing of which we could make sense, and also which would be better for us. um so there is another good reason for being honest, is that other people are actually great helpers in tapping you on the shoulder when you start to deviate from the narrow path of the truth, when you start to deviate from um, an experienced reality. Because the assumption is that we live in the same world and we share biological similarity, and so somewhat our experience should be similar. And the closer those people around us with whom we share, the more the um, closer should be the experience, the more similar should be experience. That's how it's supposed to be, if the assumption is that we live in one world and share the reality. So other people, as an equal, somewhat equal players uh, in the game of life, they are doing really a great and awesome job in tapping us on the shoulder and showing us and pointing out to where our experience are not resonating with them, which is a great opportunity for us to see perhaps this is exactly what is not that real, because other people can experience that. Perhaps not. Perhaps they are wrong, but perhaps you are wrong. And it's not only any sort of objective truths that you can figure out for yourself. It's also that, well, you live in the world with other people. They are other players. And you are playing a game of life together. And it means that you better consider them as well, or they will as minimum tap you on the shoulder and remind you of that. As maximum, they will show you that they are your problem. If you haven't yet figured out that they are, or that considering their interest is your problem, they will remind you of it. Uh, And so this is another reason for you to communicate with people properly and to be honest. First reason, which is extremely important for you, is to address exactly that what you have, because it's effective to identify and make sense of what you have by sharing it. It's effective for you, and it's also effective for you to receive the feedback from other people on where you are wrong or on where your experiences differ, not least because other people are the part of your life. um so it's not only just you knowing when your experience differs and where exactly your experience differs only for the sake of an objective truth for you to know. No, it's also for you to acknowledge and give space for what they experience, because they are also another players in the life you have. So it's extremely good for you and beneficial for your own good and for the good of others, which adds up to your own good as well. If you see right through it, that you're actually better off when other people are better off too, and that there is a way for you to be better off with others being better off as well. Yeah. So, and honesty can really do that. Because what happens when you're not honest is that you're not actually addressing what is there. When you're not sharing um what you experience, you also don't kind of work with that. You don't make a better sense of it, right? Especially if it troubles you. This is a good way of understanding what is that you should deal with in the first place. It's your anxiety that rings the bell and gives you a call that you have to deal with it, and this is exactly what is the problem. And so you become troubled by it and anxious and frustrated with that, or irritated, angered, anything. But those all are just your helpers and reminders to deal with what you haven't dealt with yet, um, and reveal your incompetence in something. And so, if you take this call seriously and if you listen to what your anxiety tells you to deal with, then you want to make a proper sense of that which brings you trouble and anxiety. Okay, so the question is then, how do you make a better uh, sense of it? How do you deal with that which troubles you? And you deal with that by exactly identifying what it is. And one of the way to exactly identify it is to present it before others, so they would remind you what it is not, but you think it is. So they could also point out to you too what is that you're experiencing. So especially if you experience things in concern with other people too, like let's say relationships, right? Memories, anything, other people are included. People can hold a mirror to your ignorance. They can even hold the mirror to your lies. They can also hold a mirror to your experiences. And if you don't make a good sense of what you're going through, other people could help you out with that by providing their view on that, because perhaps they did too had a similar experiences, or even if they hadn't. So, but if you're evading the truth, you just can't. If you just evading that, what you exactly think about, that which you exactly feel, you can't make a proper sense of it. You can't deal with that exactly. And so that this is, I think, it's crucial to not only share um reasonable things, not only share whatever seems appropriate to share, but to share that which is troublesome and vague and foggish, things you are unsure of, things you struggle to understand, things you're trying to deal with, makes a better sense of. All these kind of things, like your emotions, your and tell the truth, about those things, not least because they're troublesome and because you want to deal with them, right? Well, and then the other problem becomes, if it's better for you to be honest, how much honest is it better for you to be? And the answer, I think, would be, well, how much are you actually willing to risk to deal with that, what is troublesome for you? And if you do understand that it's crucially important for you, you will risk it. You will risk it to be hurt. It's not like you've never been hurt before. You will risk it to be. You will risk to be hurt, and you will risk even to be hurt again and again, because you are hurt anyway. But these problems are better to be solved, and you will what be willing to have an effort if you will recognize the importance of dealing with that troubles in particularly. And this awareness brings you realization of the necessity for being honest. It's like, yeah, well, if I will be honest, people can hurt me, but if I don't make a better sense of it, it will hurt even worse, right? And am I actually afraid of being hurt? Of am I afraid of not being able to make a better sense of it? Of not being able to deal with it and move forward and progress? What am I afraid of more? And then it's actually so great when people provide you their thoughts on it, and if you're actually looking forward to see the problem from different angles, you'll be just surprised how much other people have to offer you. And if you don't think that they have to, they actually do have a lot to offer to you, well, you just think too poorly of other people, and it's just because you don't think enough at all, and you have not even considered enough their views and experiences so that actually to consider their point there. But if you would listen to what they actually mean, you could consider it from another point, and that could help you. That different angle, it actually could help you if you would only try to understand it, what they actually mean. Um, and you would always consider this problem of risk of being hurt, because honesty is vulnerability, right? So Um, that's why you don't trust everyone, right? Because it's not like it's bad to be honest, it's just that it can be used against you. Um, that's why they have this phrase that love is not a weakness. It's similar to the honesty. It's not that it's weakness, it's just that it's so powerful that if it would be used against you, it would just destroy you. And the similar and these because this constitutes your deepest you, your deepest desires. And the same thing is with honesty. A vulnerable honesty that constitutes your deepest you, um, your deepest self, if would be used against you, could just destroy you. This kind of betrayal, this kind of malevolence, if your deepest self would be used against you, that could destroy you. And so, but the question is, well, do you want to stay where you are because you're not ready to take a risk? Or do you actually see the need for you to move on and to take risks? Even if you would get hurt, because it seems to me that you're getting hurt anyway. Even if you're not telling the truth, and precisely when you're not telling the truth too, it's just that what are you ready to get hurt by more, by truth or by lies? Because you will get hurt anyway. So what would you choose? Would you choose it to be for the truth, at least in intention, at least in act of being honest? Or would you choose it to be for lies, at least in desire to share what you actually experience, and in avoidance, in doubts, in confidence of holding everything to yourself and not even understanding what is that which you hold? And what would it be for other people? What would it be if it would go a little bit farther than your own mind? And would it even us what survive that test? Would it even stay the ground if it would go a little bit farther than your own life or your own experience or your own life? Would it even survive it? Could it resonate with others? Could they even understand it? The more you can be honest, the more precisely you can deal with exactly what you have. The, the more you can be honest, the more efficient you can be in dealing with these things, because you will deal exactly with that what you have. And this is the purpose, to deal exactly with what you have. But to understand what is that what you have exactly, you have to check it. You have to discover it. And you do that by bringing your fragment, by bringing your story, by bringing your picture, and comparing it with those fragments of other people, and seeing if there is any overlaps which could reveal the potential incoherence in your narrative you've been telling yourself. Because eventually we're all together in this game of life, and we're trying to build this coherent picture, because we are the parts of each other's stories. And we can help each other to do that, to build coherence instead of struggling with understanding and growing in indifference to things, and adapting to take risks. to be honest and vulnerable, and remaining where you are and not moving on. So, if this is exactly what you want, don't be honest. But if you do want to progress efficiently, you have to maximize your honesty and you have to risk, but carefully. And that would be also a challenge for you. That would push you to mature. Just like our parents tell us, don't accept the candy from each man's hand, because one of these hands could be evil and malevolent and sadistic and anything but good. So don't take candy from strangers. Be selective. Identify who is good. Identify friends you can play a good game with, and then do it. Because you better to find those people with whom you could be honest, because then if you would be honest, that would help you to play the best game you could play.